You have to start with belief, even when there's nothing in your life that looks like it's working. Success doesn't show up first, faith does. You can't wait for everything to make sense before you decide to trust your path. You have to believe in yourself when nobody else does. That's what separates people who talk about their dreams from the ones who live them. When you believe before you see, you send a message to the universe that you are ready. You tell God, I may not see it yet, but I know it's mine. That mindset shifts everything around you. Your energy begins to shift. Your actions start to align and opportunities start to emerge. It's not luck, it's faith in motion. The problem is most people only believe when it's convenient. They only believe when the results show up. But faith isn't built in comfort. It's built in chaos. You have to trust the process even when it's quiet, even when your dreams feel like they are fading. That's when belief becomes your power. Belief is what carries you when motivation dies. It's what pushes you out of bed on days you don't feel like trying. It's what keeps your head high when the world's telling you no. You can't fake belief. It's something you decide to own no matter how dark it gets. Every person who made it had to believe when it looked impossible. They had moments where everything screamed quit, but they didn't. They saw the finish line before the race even began. They believed they were chosen for something greater, and that belief became their weapon. The truth is, your breakthrough will always require blind faith. You won't always understand what's happening, but you still got to keep moving. Faith isn't about knowing every step. It's about trusting you are going in the right direction, even when the path disappears. When you decide to believe before you see, that's when your life begins to change from the inside out. You start acting like the person you are becoming, not the person you have been. That's when things start shifting in your favor, and that's when real success begins. The moment you realize nobody's coming to rescue you, that's when you step into real power. Life doesn't hand out success, it demands it. Nobody's gonna knock on your door and say, hey, I heard you got potential. You gotta prove it. You gotta show up every single day and build it from the ground up. We live in a world where people expect shortcuts. Everyone wants success without struggle. But the truth is, the grind is lonely, and most days nobody's gonna clap for you. You will have to motivate yourself. You will have to pick yourself up when nobody even notices you fell. When you work like nobody's coming to save you, you stop waiting for perfect conditions. You stop blaming the system, your past, or your circumstances. You start realizing that your success is in your hands, not anybody else's. That realization hits hard, but it's freeing because now you are in control. You have to outwork the version of yourself that keeps making excuses. You have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. You have to stop wishing for things to get easier and start wishing to get stronger. The grind doesn't care about your feelings. It rewards your effort. Every great story you admire started with someone working in silence. They didn't have help, they didn't have support, but they had hunger. They had that fire that said, I'm not leaving until I make something out of my life. That's what separates dreamers from doers. You can't keep waiting for people to understand your vision. They won't. You can't keep waiting for validation. It won't come. You got to push forward like it's all on you, because it is. Nobody's obligated to believe in you. That's your job. When you take full ownership of your grind, life starts bending in your favor. You stop being the victim and start becoming the creator. The moment you stop waiting for a rescue, you will realize you were the hero the whole time. Everybody wants to start big, but nobody wants to start small. The truth is, small beginnings are where greatness is built. You got to be willing to take that first humble step, even when it doesn't look impressive. Every skyscraper started as a single brick laid by someone who believed it would become something greater. The world makes people ashamed of starting small. It glorifies success but hides the struggle. You see people shining, but you didn't see the years they spent in the shadows. Don't let that fool you. Small steps create big results if you stay consistent. Every seed needs time to grow before it becomes a tree. Starting small builds character. It humbles you. It teaches you patience. It shows you how to survive without recognition. Those small beginnings are where you learn the lessons you will need for the bigger stage. Without that foundation, success won't last. It'll collapse the moment pressure hits. You got to learn to appreciate the process of becoming. Nobody skips the line in success. If you try to rush it, you will miss the wisdom that comes from struggle. The pain you feel in the beginning isn't punishment. It's preparation for what's ahead. Small starts build strong warriors. Most people quit in the early stages because they don't see progress. But real success moves in silence at first. The work you do when nobody's watching is what determines your future. Don't give up because it's quiet. Keep going because the noise will come later. Starting small forces you to depend on your faith instead of fame. It reminds you that what's built with heart will outlast what's built with hype. You are learning how to handle little. So when you are trusted with much, you will be ready. The beginning might look small, but it's not about where you start. It's about how far you are willing to go. Every big dream starts with one brave decision to begin, even when it's small and unseen. Consistency is the backbone of every successful story. Everybody can start strong, but few people stay consistent. The truth is, success doesn't always feel exciting. It's repetitive, it's tiring, it's quiet. But that's where the magic happens. That's where average ends and greatness begins. You won't always feel motivated, and that's okay. Motivation is temporary, but discipline lasts forever. The real test is whether you can show up when you don't feel like it. The gym feels different when you are tired, but that's when it counts most. Your dreams don't care how you feel. They only respond to your effort. Consistency builds trust. Not just with others, but with yourself. Every time you follow through, you prove to yourself that you can be counted on. That inner confidence is what keeps you grounded when life gets heavy. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing up again and again. Most people give up too early because they don't see instant results. But progress doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes the seeds are growing underground. You don't see the roots spreading, but one day they will break through the surface. That's how consistency works. It's slow, but it's steady. Consistency also separates talkers from doers. Everyone can talk about their goals, but only a few are willing to do the same thing over and over until it works. The routine might be boring, but that's where real growth happens. You can't master something you only do occasionally. There will be days when it feels like nothing's changing. You will question if it's even worth it. But that's when you need to keep going. Success doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do daily. The small habits you repeat will shape the life you live. When you master consistency, you become unstoppable. You stop chasing motivation because you have built momentum. You stop waiting for inspiration because you have built discipline. That's how winners are made, through quiet, daily commitment when nobody's watching. Rejection is something nobody likes, but everybody faces. It hits hard, especially when you have given something your all and it still doesn't work out. You question yourself, you question your worth, you start wondering if you are even meant to do what you are doing. But here's the truth. Rejection is not a signal to stop. It's a test to see if you can keep going without applause. The world won't always say yes to you, but that doesn't mean your dream isn't real. Every rejection carries a lesson that success can't teach. When someone tells you no, it's not the end of your story. It's just the start of a different chapter. You learn how to bounce back. You learn resilience. You learn how to walk through closed doors without losing faith. Every no shapes your strength. Every setback toughens your skin. Every failure builds your muscle. That pain you feel right after rejection, that's growth happening in real time. Most people run from rejection, but the strongest ones embrace it. They understand that it's part of the process. You don't grow in comfort, you grow in challenge. If you only want yeses, you will never develop the endurance you need for long-term success. Rejection teaches you how to survive in silence, how to move without validation, and how to trust yourself even when nobody else does. It's the fire that refines It's you into who you were meant to be. You got to stop taking rejection personally. Sometimes it's not about you being unqualified. It's about timing. Sometimes that door wasn't supposed to open because it wasn't your door. You think you missed an opportunity, but God's really protecting you from something smaller than your purpose. That rejection might have saved you from settling for less. It's not punishment, it's redirection. But you will only see that once you keep walking forward instead of sitting in disappointment. Rejection doesn't just test your faith, it exposes your mindset. Do you crumble when you hear no, or do you regroup and say, watch me? That response right there determines everything. The greatest people you admire, they got rejected too. They got laughed at. They got ignored. They got told they weren't enough. But they turned rejection into motivation. They turned no into next. They didn't let the world decide their worth. They decided it for themselves. You have to learn how to keep your confidence, even when life tells you you are not ready. You have to remind yourself that rejection doesn't mean you are not good. It means you are being redirected to something better. You can't let one person's opinion become your reality. Every rejection that hurts today will one day make sense, but you have to stay in the game long enough to see that moment. You can't give up just because someone didn't see your value. The truth is, rejection will always sting, but it doesn't have to stop you. It's just proof that you are trying, that you are in the arena, that you are brave enough to put yourself out there. Every time you face rejection and keep moving, you become stronger, sharper, wiser. You start realizing that what's meant for you won't reject you. And that's when rejection stops feeling like loss and starts feeling like direction. When you put God first, everything in your life starts to align in ways you can't explain. You stop chasing people, approval, and outcomes because you realize the real source of your strength doesn't come from the world. It comes from Him. You start moving differently. You stop worrying about who's against you because you know who's for you. Keeping God first doesn't mean life will get easier, but it means you will have peace even when it's hard. It gives you a foundation that no storm can destroy. There are times when you will look around and nothing will make sense. You will be praying, working, believing, and still not seeing results. But that's exactly when you need to lean into God more. Sometimes the silence is His protection. Sometimes the delay is His direction. You think He's forgotten you, but He's really preparing you. He's removing things you don't even know could hurt you later. That's why you have to trust Him even when you can't trace Him. Some people will tell you to depend on your own strength, but your strength has limits. God doesn't. You can grind all you want, but without divine direction, you will keep running in circles. That's why you got to pray before you move, listen before you speak, and seek His presence before you make decisions. The peace that comes from staying connected to Him will guide you through things that hustle never could. Success without God might look good, but it never feels right. When you keep God first, you stop chasing validation. You realize you are already approved. You don't need the world's applause when you have His favor. That's when your confidence becomes unshakable. You stop competing, comparing, and overthinking because you understand your journey is designed by the one who never makes mistakes. You start moving with purpose, not pressure. You start walking with faith, not fear. There will be moments when you feel like giving up, and that's when keeping God first becomes your anchor. When everything around you feels unstable, His word keeps you steady. When you don't see a way out, His hand still makes a way through. You will realize that the same God who got you through your last storm will carry you through the next one. That's why no matter what you face, you can stand firm, not because of who you are, but because of who He is. Keeping God first isn't just about praying for blessings. It's about building a relationship. It's waking up thankful, even on bad days. It's talking to Him when nobody's around. It's trusting His no as much as His yes. It's walking by faith when you don't have answers. When God is first, peace follows, strength grows, and purpose reveals itself piece by piece, even when you can't see the full picture yet. Peace is one of the most powerful things you can have in this life, and once you lose it, everything starts to fall apart. You can have money, success, attention. But if your spirit isn't at peace, you will still feel empty. Protecting your peace means you stop allowing everything and everyone to have access to your mind and emotions. It means you start being selective with your energy. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table, and not every battle deserves your response. Your peace is your power, and when you lose it, you lose yourself. People will try to pull you into their chaos because misery loves company. They will gossip, complain, and try to drag you into their drama just to see you distracted. You have to be strong enough to walk away from anything that disturbs your spirit. You don't need to explain your silence or your distance to anyone. Protecting your peace means protecting